Location unknown. Location found.
Spider-Man. Brand new day just ended, and if you stayed through the credits, you saw something strange. No hero, no villain, no familiar face. Just an app, a blinking dot, and a voice that said 4 words. New Spider-Man sighting. Location unknown. Then the screen kept zooming out, past New York, past the moon, and somewhere in the dark, past a glitch that shouldn't exist, a second dot appears. Scared. Here's what that scene actually means, and why it connects to a plan Marvel has been building since before this movie even started filming. First, a quick reset on how we got here. Brand New Day, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, picks up after the ending of No Way Home, where Peter Parker made Doctor Strange erase him from everyone's memory to save the people he loves. That means Tom Holland's Peter is now living alone with his secret, while MJ and Ned walk past him on the street without a flicker of recognition. It's a quieter, more grounded premise than any Spider-Man film Marvel has made right up until it isn't. For most of its runtime, the film plays like a street-level mystery. A telepath is breaking into facilities run by the Department of Damage Control, the government agency originally stood up to clean up the wreckage of the first Avengers battle, and, since then, quietly expanded into something closer to a domestic shield. This telepath doesn't fight, she possesses people, uses their bodies to get where she needs to go, and vanishes. Peter investigates alongside a police detective, and in one of the film's more unexpected pairings, John Bernthal's Frank Castle, the Punisher. But then something changed. When the telepath tries to get inside Peter's head, she accidentally triggers a memory. The moment Aunt May learned Peter was Spider-Man, back at the end of Homecoming. That emotional jolt, stacked on top of Peter learning MJ has moved on with someone new, sets off what the film treats as a kind of second puberty, his spider DNA fully activating, enhanced senses, enhanced strength, and organic webbing that starts firing out of his wrists whether he wants it to or not. It's a visual nod to the comic-accurate Peter 2 design from Sam Raimi's original trilogy, and it terrifies Peter enough that he goes looking for a way to suppress it. Which is how Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner ends up back in this story, warning Peter that suppressing what you are rarely works out the way you think it will. Now, here's where the mystery pays off, and it's bigger than a street-level villain of the week. That telepath has a name, Jean Grey. Multiple outlets confirmed after release what fans had suspected for over a year. Sadie Sink, best known for Stranger Things, is playing the MCU's version of one of the most powerful mutants in Marvel Comics, first created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby back in 1963. In the comics, Jean Grey is a founding X-Man, later the host of the Cosmic Phoenix Force, and one half of Marvel's most consequential romance with Cyclops. None of that history exists yet in this universe. Here, she's just a scared teenager who doesn't know what she is. The film gives her a tragic backstory instead of a comic book origin. Jean and her older sister Sarah, played by Olivia Booth Ford, were abandoned as children after their mutant telepathy started to manifest. Sarah was eventually captured by the Department of Damage Control, and in the film's most quietly devastating reveal, Jean learns her sister didn't just disappear. She was experimented on and killed, her powers harvested by the agency's director Bill Metzger, played by Tremel Tillman. Metzger, it turns out, is the film's real villain, not Jean. He wants to replicate telepathic control and put it in the hands of people he can control, and everything Jean has done across the movie, including hijacking MJ's body and nearly killing her, traces back to a government agency running unauthorized experiments on a teenage mutant. That's a heavier swing than anything in Homecoming, Far From Home, or No Way Home, and it's deliberate. Marvel is clearly leaning on writer Chris Claremont's run on Uncanny X-Men from the late 1970s through the early 90s, the era that first gave Jean Grey an older sister, Sarah, in a 1980s issue, and the era generally considered the gold standard for X-Men storytelling. Pulling directly from that period is a strong signal about which version of the X-Men mythology Marvel Studios intends to build toward. Notably, the film never once uses the words X-Men or mutant. Characters are simply special. Given that this is a joint production between Sony and Marvel Studios, that phrasing looks less like a storytelling choice and more like a rights formality being carefully worked around. The MCU has already planted a few mutant seeds elsewhere. Kamala Khan's comic-accurate genetics, for one, but Brand New Day never explains why these abilities are surfacing now. That question is almost certainly being saved for Marvel's upcoming X-Men film, which has not yet had cast or plot details confirmed. By the film's climax, Jean has broken into Damage Control's vault tower, and in the process ends up possessing Bruce Banner, breaking his inhibitor bracelet and unleashing a full Hulk transformation. It leads to one of the film's biggest set pieces, and it's Peter, not force, but empathy, who ultimately reaches her, letting her into his own mind and revisiting that same Aunt May memory from earlier in the film. In it, May tells Jean what she once told Peter, that people will do monstrous things to her because she's different, but that she is loved not because she's special, but because of who she is underneath it. It's the emotional backbone of the whole film, and it sets up Jean's quiet final scene boarding a bus out of the city, heading toward what looks like upstate New York, Westchester County, home, in the comics, to Professor Charles Xavier's school. Sink has already been confirmed to appear in Avengers Secret Wars, which all but guarantees more of the X-Men roster is coming with her. So what does any of that have to do with the post-credits scene? Here's what we know for certain. Ned Leeds spent the entire film using an app he built himself, the Spidey Tracker, to log sightings of Spider-Man across New York, not realizing, because of the memory spell, that Spider-Man is his best friend. It's a running gag throughout the film, and Sony leaned into it hard enough to launch a real companion website for it. In the credits scene, the tracker logs a new sighting in Queens, then loses it. The camera pulls back from Earth, past the moon, into open space, and a second glitching pin appears out in the dark. The voice confirms, location found. Then the screen cuts to black. That's it. No name, no date, no confirmation of who or what that pin represents. And that ambiguity is the point. To understand why, you have to zoom out to what Marvel has already confirmed is coming. Avengers. Doomsday, with Robert Downey Jr. returning as Victor Von Doom, is built around the comic concept of incursions alternate. Earths drifting into collision with one another across the multiverse. Marvel has already shown fragments of that idea in earlier post-credits scenes, including Thunderbolts, where alternate Earths were shown appearing in the sky. Doom's stated comic book goal in that storyline is to harvest the wreckage of those colliding worlds into a single patchwork planet he calls Battle World, the central setting of the Secret Wars event that follows. As of this recording, Tom Holland has not been confirmed for Doomsday, though most industry reporting expects him to appear in Secret Wars at minimum. Multiple outlets covering the post-credits scene have floated the same theory independently. This is quiet setup for exactly that event, not a guarantee of Doomsday itself. That leaves a genuinely open question, and 3 theories worth taking seriously. The first? This is simply Marvel's Peter Parker, pulled off Earth entirely as Battleworld begins to form nearby, setting up his return in Doomsday or Secret Wars. The second? This is a nod towards Sony's animated Spider-Verse franchise, whose visual glitch effect this scene closely echoes, hinting at a variant arriving from somewhere else in the multiverse. The third, and the one worth sitting with longest, this is a different Peter Parker altogether. No Way Home already proved Ned has latent sorcery. He operated a functioning portal with 0 training. If some of that ability survived the memory wipe, it's not unreasonable to wonder whether his tracker just detected a variant crossing into range. That could be a version of Holland's own Peter. It could, at least according to persistent industry rumors that have grown more credible as other reported plot details have checked out, be the return of a Spider-Man played by an actor from an earlier film series. None of that is confirmed. All of it is plausible, and Marvel, as usual, isn't saying. What is confirmed is this: Jean Grey exists in the MCU now, Damage Control has been exposed, and a second Spider-Man just appeared somewhere in the sky above Earth. Whatever's coming, it's bigger than one movie. Which theory do you buy? Sound off in the comments. I want to know which one you think Marvel is actually building toward. If this broke down something you were still trying to piece together, that's exactly what this channel is for subscribe. and I'll see you in the next one.